Hello everyone, Rahul here. Today we are going to start economic survey as many of you have demanded. So first of all, best of luck for those people who have cleared mains, and for rest of them, please don't lose your heart and start working hard on answer writing. So let's start with the economic survey today, and in this first video we are going to deal with the first chapter of the economic survey, which gives you a general idea about the economic outlook. So let's move ahead. The initial summary is given like the international markets are volatile. Volatile means they are deviating, like they are at hike sometimes and they are falling very low sometimes, so they are not stable. Most of the economies are growing very slowly, so the recovery is weak. So due to weak recovery, there is no demand, so no export no means very less export. So less export means your foreign currency is very less, which is entering our economy. Suppose India is exporting, so if its export decreases, its foreign currency income decreases, like dollar income or pound income, it decreases. So when it decreases, we have less ability to get other products which we can import, which we need. Suppose capital goods, nuclear reactors, petroleum, etc., etc. So out of all these gloomy atmosphere, we in India, we have a heaven of stability and outpost of opportunity. Heaven of stability means a safe place. India, as you know, India is also generating its own demand, and it is growing at a better rate than every economy including China. And it is also an outpost of opportunity because we are growing in terms of infrastructures. We have the youngest workforce with 65% of the population below 35 years of age. So we have a lot of opportunities. Many new people are opening their own companies, and there's a lot of innovative research going on, and many people from the rural areas are aspiring to become rich and trying to find new jobs in different fields. So our macroeconomic stable because of fiscal consolidation. Fiscal is related to government's revenue as well as expenditure. So fiscal consolidation means government is trying to reduce its debt, and we know that the target for next year is 3.5%, as it just came in the budget. Also, we are having a low inflation. So low inflation means people can buy more, so which leads to hike in demand and hence supply, and hence the factories will produce more, and if factories produce more, they'll pay to the workers more. New factories will set up to cater to the demand, and the cycle goes on. So next we come to the economic growth. Economic growth is highest in India, as I already told you, and this is this is increasing due to more infrastructure spending. You know, in 12th five-year plan, we had the target of $1 trillion investment in infrastructure, which will not only come from the government but also from the private or multilateral international institutions. So despite this growth that we are achieving, approximately 7.2 or 3% we have now, it is despite the global headwinds, because global demand is less, still we have a huge growth. And also we are having a poor rainfall for last 2-3 years. Farmers are suffering from drought and committing suicide, but still we have so much growth. So India is leading the world in terms of growth. Let's move ahead. So what we find, a new word in the economic survey is the sweet spot. This word was used last year also. Sweet spot is because of strong political mandate, because it is a government which came on majority, and also it has the favorable favorable external environment. This is we are talking about the last year's economic survey. So government have both the coins in its pocket. But this year, the strong political mandate remains the same, but the favorable economic environment is not there. We are seeing the negative means this environment is absent. So because of this, we need to save our Indian economy and adjust our expectations. Saving Indian economy means from the outside effects, like the many developed economies are going into recession. So if we are more involved in those economies, we might have impact on our banks also, because or our industries also, because they have invested in those economies. Also we need to adjust our expectations because the global recovery is weak. So we need to see that how much growth we can achieve next year, and we should not consider our internal aspect, but we should also consider the external conditions. So as we know, after the 1991 we adopted LPG, liberalization, globalization, privatization. So after 1991 we constantly became intertwined with the world's economy. So you will find approximately the same trend as the world's economic growth is going. So initially, when we were approaching or we were liberalizing, we had not much similarity or correspondence in these two graphs. But after 2002, we see exact correspondence. When world's growth hike is there, when world's growth hike is there, the India's growth hike is there, and you see the same trend. As the graph moves up and down, India's graph also moves up and down. Means there is correspondence. That is, we are getting linked more and more. So let's come out to the reforms and the outcomes which have been done incrementally by the new government. First of all is transparent auction of public assets and non-interference in regulatory decisions. As we know, in the last UPA government there was a lot of corruption charges, 2G scam, coal scam, etc. So this has addressed the corruption in the center. So the second point is liberalizing foreign direct investment. So previously the philosophy of FDI we considered as a tolerable necessity because it was required for growth, and we didn't have so much money. It was required for employment, but it is now being welcomed. Now being welcomed as we have increased the equity share of FDIs to in some sectors to even 100%, so that they find some incentive in coming to India to invest. So the third point is effort to ease the cost of doing business. So many steps have been taken to ease the cost of doing business. So for example, the rise in competitive index rankings, because of that is the outcome. And other one is dynamism of startups and e-commerce. We have recently, the Prime Minister has launched the startup policy, which has given great boost to startups. Similarly, settlement of the MAT imposed on foreign companies. So this settlement has been fastened. Similarly, increased substantially the limits beyond which the tax department will file appeal. Before and all, with very less amount also the appeals will be filed in the income tax appellate tribunal, high court, supreme court. But nowadays you can file the appeal, or the income tax department can file the appeal in the income tax appellate tribunal only when the minimum amount of that party on the minimum tax that they want is 10 lakh or more. Similarly, in high court is 20 lakh and its supreme court is 25 lakh or more. So it restored the stability and predictability of decisions in tax decisions. Similarly, we have a major crop insurance program which is hopeful that it will provide cushion to farmers against the adversity like drought or hailstorm, etc. So also we have Jan Dhan Yojana, and with which we have 20 crore accounts already opened within a year or so. Similarly, we have RBI has given license to 11 payment banks and 12 small banks. This will give a huge boost to the rural as well as rural areas mainly, as urban has already been covered. So we also have the game-changing Jandan Aadhaar Mobile Trinity, as we say it. So because of this, the first experience we have is of the LPG, where we are doing direct cash transfers to 151 million beneficiaries. That is, they are receiving a total 29,000 crores in their banks accounts. So this has like eradicated or removed the ghost accounts, as we say, that on whose name the account has been taken, but it is being diverted to commercial level, and they are charging commercial rates there, earning the profit which is being given by the government in the form of subsidy. Okay. Similarly, the government has done the reforms in the power sector, like in Uday scheme they have changed the financial standing or improved the financial standing of the distribution companies of electricity. So let's move ahead. But not only these reforms, along with these reforms, we have many setbacks like GST bill. On this bill, we have not yet reached consensus. Similarly, the divestment program has fell short of targets, including that of achieving strategic sales. Similarly, the next stage of subsidy rationalization is work in progress, because many subsidies are still going to the rich people. Similarly, next point is the corporate and bank balance sheets remain stressed. You would have heard about the Vijay Mallya thing, and he has been like case has been filed by SBI against the Vijay Mallya, as he is the prime defaulter of SBI. So the corporates and bank balance sheets are stressed because of NPAs, and corporates balance sheets are stressed because demand is not there globally, because of which they are not getting cash to repay to the banks. So let's move ahead. The country's long run potential is there, that we can grow at around 8 to 10%. So how should we realize this potential? How to realize this potential? The first point is, previously we had the role of state in the economy, important role. State you ruled with iron hand on the industry, like most of industries were public sector, but now we have given role to the markets. So we have turned pro industry, but along with pro industry we need to evolve it to pro competitive environment. If we have competition, then we can find improvement in quality. So still now, what problem we are facing is the pervasive exemptions. There are lot of exemptions in the Income Tax Act, which helps in the corporates in evading the taxes. Similarly, we have lot of corporate subsidies. These favors business and not markets, because if they are favoring business, they are not taking care about the market. Market depends always on demand and supply. So therefore, along with this, the state needs to be right sized. Right sized means, if you want to reduce the number of employees, you should reduce. But we should not do like that. We should remove most of the employees, and the necessary functions also were to be given to the private sector. This should not be done. Important roles should be under the control of the state, like regulatory authorities should be under the control. Similarly, we should strengthen in the important areas where we need to strengthen. For example, the Ponzi schemes which are being caught and which are staving off the savings of the very poor class. So for that we need to have an appropriate setup which involve all the government people. So according to this, we need to right size. Now, how to realize this potential? What potential I'm talking about? That 8 to 10% growth potential. So for that we have to maintain the competitive environment by helping the bankrupt companies exit. So addressing exit policy. This is very important as many companies who are bankrupt, we are not still able to compose. Some companies have taken 25 years to shut down. So this has been called as Chakravyuh problem of the Indian economy. So if these companies are not closed, these become hindrance to investment, efficiency, job creation and growth. So Indian economy, as we see, before it was socialist economy because everything was under the control of the state, but now with restricted entry, because most of the industries were government, and some private industries that were there had to be opened only with the permission of the government. But now we have come to marketism, but that marketism is without exit policy is not there, because of which the loss making enterprises of government do not shut down, and it becomes as a loss to the government. So for addressing this, government has taken many initiatives like new bankruptcy law it has tried to introduce. Similarly, rehabilitating the stalled projects like PPP in roads, it has tried to rehabilitate. Similarly, it is also considering guidelines for PPP which can facilitate exit and hence improve the efficiency of the economy. The second point comes is the major investment in people. Major investment in people's, that is people's health and education. Health and education is very necessary as most of the people who are young. If they will be healthy, they can do jobs, they can work in factories, they can open their own companies, they can become politicians, they can become sports person, anything and everything they can become. Similarly, if they are educated, only then they can do some skilled jobs which are required for that particular field. So then I've already told you that India's demographic dividend can only be reaped when we have a healthy as well as educated population. So delivery of essential services need to be done. So this can be done through states which have now got more devolved funds from the center. As you know, 14th Finance Commission has devolved from the tax pool 42% of the share to the states. So the states need to increase the capacity and efficiency. Capacity means number. Suppose there were 100 hospitals in a state, so now it should become 125 or 150 hospitals. Similarly, efficiency. Suppose one hospital catered to 100 patients or 150 patients in a day, so it should become 250 patients in a day. There should be more doctors, more medicines, more nurses to take care, more rooms should be constructed. So these kind of things can be done. Then there needs to be shift from outlays to outcome, because in budget we only decide outlays. Rupees 20,000 crores has been allotted to this and this sector, but we need to see outcomes. If I have invested 20,000 crore in a particular scheme, so how much output I am getting? Suppose it is for construction of new schools. If I have spent 20,000 crores, I will not only see that new schools have been made, I will also see that how many students are coming and what output they are giving to the nation. That is, if they are performing well, teachers are performing well, everything and anything comes in the outcomes that will be beneficial for the nation or economy. So we need to learn by monitoring that regular checkup, that everything is being done fine. Suppose health department, medicine is available, instruments are available, doctors are available, nurses are available. Also we need to innovate means to achieve the same objective with some other route or with some cheaper route, or doing something which has not been done before, but it was known but it has not been done, or some new method has been devised to achieve that objective with the small amount of resources available at that place. So even if we commit error, there is not a problem if we are learning. So central should focus on improving policies because it is in their hand, strengthening regulatory institutions to have, that is to have checks and balances similarly, and enhancing cooperative and competitive federalism. Cooperative federalism is between center and states. Competitive federalism is between different states. So states should mobilize around implementing programs because they have been provided the funds. They should mobilize around implementing programs and schemes to ensure better service delivery. A third point to achieve this 8 to 10% growth rate is with the help of agriculture. We already know that approximately more than 50% of the population is involved in agriculture, and most of them are small farmers and landless laborers. So these are highly vulnerable to productivity, weather, and market shocks. So the government has divided the new crop insurance scheme, which should try to address these problems of the farmers. And also there is need to redress the current systems of subsidies and incentives, because if you give subsidies they use it more and more, and if they use it more, even they like do water logging or soil erosion etc happens, or soil becomes salty. So it is it is not beneficial to sustainable environment. Let's move ahead. Now there is a well established nature that has there is well established literature that have found out that institutions are key determinant for long run growth. I will show in the next figure. See, here we have economic development in log scale PPP basis, per purchasing power parity basis. Here we have, just suppose here we have economic growth, and here we have demographic index. See, the nations over on this line are, we say it's a best fit. That is, when a nation is poor, see, economic development is low, we have low democracy, means here we have autocratic forces or dictatorial forces. As we move towards the democratic institutions, we also see rise in economic development. See here, as we move ahead, economic development is more with more democratic institutions or democratic character of institutions. But India is a peculiar case where we have low economic development, but still we have great democratic institutions. And China is, on the other hand, has huge economic growth, but they have very less democratic character. Their Communist Party of China rules, and they don't at all tolerate dissent or criticism of the government. Only one party, and it selects its president among its own members. So these China and India are at the exactly opposite ends. So let's move ahead. So it has been expected that over the time period, China will go for greater democratization, and India will grow for greater growth, and they will come on the best fit line. And the China, it has been assumed that China's democratization will accompany its slow growth, and as its growth slows, people will protest and demand their rights, because they will become disenchanted with the current government. So China will start to open up to the people or democratize its institution. Similarly, India, which has already democratized, people are demanding more and more. So as the people demand more and work hard, the economy boosts up. There can also be a institutional decline if we have some retrograde forces like communal forces dictating the agenda, and we might not grow and less democratize, and later when people rise against this communal or pervasive forces, we again see a baseline fit, as we see in most of the economies. Okay, so this is called normalization. We're coming towards the best fit line of China as well as India. So thank you everyone. Please like, comment, and subscribe to www.decipheris.com. Please like our Facebook page as shown below, and please feel free to comment. Thank you.